Hey YouTube, so the media's finally done it. The mainstream media's finally pissed me off enough to start speaking out against some of the things I've been reading and seeing online that basically has come down to propaganda, and I'm going to start calling it out. So this is just the first of many, I'm sure, but let's get started. So what happened? So it looks like another person has been tarred and feathered by the mainstream media. This time it's internet superstar Felix Kilborg, known as PewDiePie. I only know of PewDiePie in passing. I know that I don't know if he's just suspended by Disney or not, but he was part of Maker Studio. Maker Studio, of course, Makers is a subsidiary of Disney now. They were bought in 2014. So it was sold to Disney and now it's a subsidiary. But at any rate, PewDiePie is part of that group. I tried to do a search for unique views for Maker Studio a month versus those of PewDiePie to try and figure out what percentage he made up. I saw some conflicting reports. PewDiePie gets something like 250 million views a month, and Makers get something like 1.1 billion. On the unique views, it's tough to tell, though. I saw anywhere from about 7 million, 8 million to about 15 million, and for Maker as a whole studio, I saw about 50 million. So I'd say it is about 20 to 30%. So, you know, a quarter to a third of all the views on Maker are from subscribers of PewDiePie, at least, if not more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the narrative, especially in this Wall Street Journal video. I won't go over all the videos and everything. I'll have a link to it below. I'm just going to use the images. I don't know how you put it. I don't know if you would call them social justice warrior videos or SJW videos, but I see these all the time in social media, and I think they, in the last 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years maybe, they've become really common. And they're almost like I would expect internet propaganda to be. If you had to make propaganda, it would be like this. And the mainstream news has picked up on them and started doing them even more recently, probably in the last year or two. Maybe at some point I'll try and go back through lots of media sources in the future and see if I can find, try and track it back to where originally they started in the mainstream media. But I want to point out how they do this narrative thing, and it's just insidious, and I hate every moment of watching these videos. So let's start here. So the first thing we see is, of course, the Wall Street Journal's trigger warning for warning graphic language and content. You know, what they're saying is this is going to be really offensive. You got to watch out here that you're going to get upset here. And they follow this up with a really small background on him. They just say, you know, he's 27, he became famous by playing video games on YouTube. They don't really delve into that. They don't go into what his fan base is made up of or anything like that. They just say it's the biggest channel, 53 million subscribers. It's really glossed over as if to say, look, it's not really important who he is or what he does or why he's popular. You know, that's not what's important. What's important is all the bad stuff we're going to talk about. So then we get a series of strange clips after that. I'm not playing this as a video, I'm just showing screen captures that I have up there. But essentially they have clips where PewDiePie is talking about, essentially he is portraying a satirical character of the way media portrays Trump voters, specifically because he's wearing a Make America Great Again hat. So that is a satirical character he's playing, and then he pushes it in with imagery of Hitler, which is really funny, hilarious, and his deadpan expression sometimes on it just makes him look silly, like he looks funny. And the Wall Street Journal ties this into an actual shot of Hitler and then says, recently some of the videos have briefly included Nazi messages, images of Adolf Hitler, and explicit anti-Semitic commentary. And as you can see here, what they're saying is, look, this guy's the most important person, he's doing these horrible things. As you can see afterwards, the next clip is, wow, we found this as shocking as we're sure you good people do outside of the Wall Street Journal. So we requested comment from Disney, and they said the content was inappropriate, and they've cut ties with PewDiePie, who ran his business through Maker Studio, which is a subsidiary of Disney. But it's interesting that the Wall Street Journal kind of virtue signals here, going, hey, we asked them, why, Disney, why are you doing this? So moving on in the Wall Street Journal video, they have a note here that says, in a January 11th video, that has since been removed, Mr. Kellberg, featured two men holding a sign reading "Death to all Jews" after hiring them from a freelance website. And as he said after, what he was thinking was, there's no way they're going to say this. I'm going to pay them $5 anyways and see what the most ludicrous thing is I could get these people to show is. And that was what he thought up. And I actually think that's quite funny. I don't know how you can not think that's funny. I mean, those people, I believe that somebody said that they're East Indian. And they're in India, I'd assume. And I've already watched a bunch of different videos from Western East Indian guys. I'm seeing it from East Indian women, granted, but from East Indian guys who I would think would tie in most with these guys, and they've all said that they thought it was pretty funny. I haven't seen one yet that didn't, and they were saying that there's no way these guys on this video are poor guys, which is what the media has been trying to portray, poor men that are being abused by PewDiePie. They think these guys actually make money because they're even aware of this service existing. So I thought just the whole situation is so funny. In context, it's so funny. When you take it out of context, it looks like you're hiring people to do something that's anti-Semitic, and not just a joke that is probably going to be in bad taste if the wrong people see it, which is what happened. But again, you can see they don't portray it that way. So the next part of the Wall Street Journal video is, to me, the funniest part, because it's also a segment that they take out of context here. They take only in partial context, I should say, to make it seem like he's apologizing for general anti-Semitism, which is very amusing because groups that I have seen around the internet, like Stormfront and those guys, of which I'm not a part, but I've seen people that I assume are from Stormfront cutting that video for PewDiePie and making it seem like he's being anti-Semitic. But I've also seen other people that are trolling those people using that to make it seem like they have more power than they do, which is even funnier. So you can look at this in a number of different ways. It's just the Wall Street Journal is buying into we're the media, we have to police this, and it's funny to watch. I can't believe they cannot see how humorous they come across in this. But as they say, apologies can camouflage messages that may still be received and celebrated by hate groups, the Southern Poverty Law Center says. So what they're saying here is that, look, we're backing what the Southern Poverty Law Center says implicitly by putting this up. And the SPLC is just they're a covert, not quite Marxist, but I mean, you can't get much more silly than the SPLC. I mean, on the right, there's groups that are similar, but for the left, man, the SPLC is just brutal. But apologies can camouflage messages that may still be received and celebrated by hate groups. It's like, yeah, but that's because they do the same thing that the media is doing here, and they take it out of context. So what they're doing is the Wall Street Journal is taking the same context as hate groups, which to me would be hilarious. That means you're going to think on the same wavelength as a hate group. That's crazy. That's crazy. No, man, I'm going to think on the same wavelength as PewDiePie. I think this is ridiculous. I don't know what you idiots are talking about. Wow. Oh my God. Mainstream media. Wow. It's just. This is why I'm talking, because this is so crazy to me. I just watched this and I'm like, you people are insane. So also that they noted that on January the 22nd, after the initial media reports, PewDiePie did another one of these videos where he paid somebody, it looks like something like $50, or I guess in American, probably about $35 American, something like that. It looks like it's 20 pounds to get an actor in one of these website things. And he's a guy that kind of sort of looks like a Jesus Christ. I actually don't think his face looks quite right to me, but his hair is long and frazzled, and that he got him to say something else like, isn't it ironic that blah blah blah, something else about Jews, like, oh, isn't it ironic how, and then he said something like, oh, isn't it ironic how Jews screwed over Jesus again, or something like that after making the video. Same type of thing where he's playing around with goofy humor of what trolls would do. It's the same thing that you would see like anywhere on the internet. and it mocks people that think that way, and it's funny. And after that, they noted that he removed it, probably because of all the backlash. And the Wall Street Journal says, after inquiries from us, he removed the three the account removed the 3 videos that he wrote in a blog that he doesn't support any kind of hateful attitudes. And it's like, okay. And then they have this very dramatic zoom-ins on videos that don't exist, which is quite funny. And then they go on to say he wrote that he creates content for entertainment and understands those jokes were ultimately offensive. Yes, that's why they're funny. If they weren't offensive, they wouldn't be funny. Most jokes are offensive to somebody somewhere. This is, and I remember in a Dan Carlin podcast once, he talked, I think it was his one of his first couple on World War I, probably the second episode. But he talked about gallows humor being a big thing among troops in trenches in World War I, because you're faced with so much death and suffering that joking becomes such, like, really sick joking becomes a coping mechanism of life. And he talks, I remember one in particular where he talks about there were so many dead bodies in World War I in the trenches that they'd have to, and they couldn't leave because if you left you'd get shot. So a lot of the times if they had dead bodies around them, they would bury them into the walls of the tunnels. And when you've got dead bodies in the tunnels, you have to sleep in there. When they would get up in the morning sometimes, one author wrote that they would line up and walk past and shake hands. It became a thing to shake hands in this one trench with this hand that was sticking out of the wall. They couldn't bury it. They tried to bury it more, but they couldn't get this one hand to stick any further into the wall of the trench of this dead person that was buried in there. So everybody in the morning would walk by and shake the hand of this dead person. And that became a thing. Like they would joke about it, like say good morning Bill, good morning Bill, good morning Bill as they walked by. And it was like it's a coping mechanism humans have to deal with outrage, to deal with outrageous situations that you don't want to think about the trauma involved in it. You want to turn it into something that's positive and beneficial moving forward. So Wall Street Journal right after that notes at 3:41 of their video, they say YouTube said in a statement, if content is intended to be provocative or satirical, it may remain online. If the uploader's intent is to incite violence or hatred, it will be removed. Now that makes sense to me, just because most countries that have hate speech laws, what they usually say is that the hate speech has to be reasonably seen to be trying to incite violence or hatred. And I've only watched maybe a handful of PewDiePie videos, but this guy is not trying to incite violence or hatred. I hadn't seen a video of his in like years, so I went back and the first one I clicked on today was something where he was making a faux sad video about teenage girls writing and complaining about how he dyed his hair blonde, and I'm like, really? These people, so the Wall Street Journal is saying that this new neo-Nazi leading anti-Semite movements, the main thing we have to worry about is him online with his blonde hair complaining about teenage girls making fun of him. Wow, okay. This is journalism in 2017 though. Like, I can't, maybe they're just doing it to try and steal views, but man, I don't know how they can't see this gonna backfire on them. It just blows my mind. I see their dislike, their like to dish rate is like 200 to about 6,000 right now. Oh, Wall Street Journal, you should hire some people that know what they're doing. Jesus, that's insane. Okay, well, let's see if we've got anything else here. Okay, yeah. So last comment I'll make on this. So at 4:02 on the Wall Street Journal video, they have PewDiePie's videos are being celebrated by the Daily Stormer website, which recently declared itself the world's #1 PewDiePie fan site. So I'm not a member on the Daily Stormer. I just know that they're the white genocide, probably mostly Americans. They're the white genocide website, and I think that's hilarious. But really, what they're doing is the Daily Stormer took over things that started to get taken over by the so-called alt-right, which are simply tactics developed by certain groups online of using what social justice warriors had been doing to individuals online for a few, probably, oh, I don't know, probably for about 10 years, probably since about mid-2000s until around 2013 or 14. You'd see big groups of social justice warriors in their 20s running around, 20s and maybe 30s, running around and trying to get people doxxed, trying to get people to lose their jobs and things like that for things that they would say on the internet. And now the different groups have just been picking up on those tactics. And the Daily Stormer is trying to take them over, and it's so funny to watch. But the funny thing is, it's not controllable. So there's no as a lot of people would say that things like the meme war, the great meme war, and stuff like that. There's no controlling it. It'll either catch on or it won't catch on. But it's not saying that the Daily Stormer has declared itself the world's #1 PewDiePie fan site. Well, the reason why they're doing that is because of the reaction that PewDiePie got. If there was no reaction to his videos, like if it's not even the people that find it funny, because I'm sure a lot of his viewers found it funny, or he just wouldn't have done it. Nobody would have watched the videos, or people in his comments would have been like, "No, this is terrible humor, blah 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 blah. Take it down right away, you neo-Nazi, blah blah blah." Yeah, if PewDiePie was actually getting messages from his subscribers, I'm sure he would have taken it down. But they all know him, so a lot of these things are built-in jokes to his own channel, I would assume. So when he does this, it's funny to the people that know him, because it's so not him. But if you're coming from the outside, you can take it however you want. So you can be the mainstream media and get totally overblown upset about it, like Wall Street Journal and others have done, and Disney, it looks like, on the corporate side, because they obviously probably have never watched any of his videos. Or you could take it like the Daily Stormer and say, haha, he pissed off all the mainstream media, and we can quote mine the shit out of him, so we're going to make him the symbol for the white genocide resistance, or whatever the Daily Stormer is advocating these days. It's just hilarious to watch. It's just so funny. But I don't see how they can't see that. Maybe they do see that. Maybe they think they're genius by trying to get clicks on this one video. I think it's going to backfire more than they believe, though. And then yes, they have the Southern Poverty Law Center calls the Daily Stormer the top hate site in America. Really, if the Daily Stormer is the top hate site in America, then there's not that much hate in America. Because Jesus Christ, I mean, the people that come out of there, yeah, they're generally not the nicest. Like, they're generally not the most inclusive, and they're not multicultural by and large. But Jesus Christ, the top hate site. That's crazy. Oh my God, Wall Street Journal. Anyways, guys and girls, I just wanted to make my first video about this. I never followed PewDiePie before. I'd watched 2 of his videos years ago, and I didn't find him funny. But they were all gaming based, and I just didn't get the whole reaction humor style thing. I didn't find that interesting, and it didn't make me laugh. But having watched some of his more recent stuff, this stuff that kind of gets into mocking things that are absurd, I'm on board with. So I'm going to follow him. If you follow me, I'm going to start sharing more stuff like this that's just stupid. Hopefully I'll be doing it better in the future. And yeah, at some point I'm going to go back through all this mainstream media stuff, and I'll touch on why the initial thing that got me set off it. It has a lot to do with JonTron. So I don't know if I can pull up the exact instances, but I'll get on that eventually, and I'll make something for that. But anyways, guys, thanks a lot for listening, and hope you have a great day. Bye.